sitting here with Omar Rivas. He is going to be handling the breakout session on how to sell yourself and be memorable. And I have to be honest, it's actually one of the most popular breakout sessions, and for due reasons. And so we're excited to have Omar here. Thank you so much for sitting with me and talking with us a little bit to give us kind of what to expect from you at your breakout session at Spotlight on Success Summit.
Well, thank you very much, Teresa, for having me. It's a pleasure. It's just like you said, it's fate. I was actually fell into this spot, and I'm really honored and looking forward to it.
Yay. So tell us here, what can we expect to hear from you in your breakout session at Spotlight on Success Summit?
Interesting. What I'm looking to do is project the ideology that most salespeople, or people who are actually trying to promote something in some aspect, are attempting to tell their buying public or their buying individuals exactly what they have to offer as opposed to what solutions they may have from the individual. See, people buy for their reason. They don't buy for the salesperson's reason. And the objective then becomes is how do you actually identify from yourself what you actually have to offer? And one of them could be understanding that people have a need. And how do you supply that need and provide a solution? And we're going to be going over a variety of different topics, one of them being bonding and rapport, understanding transactional analysis, going into upfront contracting, how to actually connect with people based on their personality styles. The idea then becomes is how do you become more valuable to someone? Because let's face it, people buy from people that they like, and they like people that are very much like themselves. So what adjustments do you have to make in your life to become very much like the person you're attempting to do business with?
That's so good. That's so good. So that S word is very uncomfortable for a lot of people, and that S word representing sales, selling. What makes it so uncomfortable for individuals when we say sales or selling?
You know, back in the 1960s, there was a show on TV called Password, and the idea behind it was there would be two people on a team, and one would give clues in order to identify a particular word that was secretly given to the other partner. And so if we were to play a game right now, and I was to ask you, okay, what are some of the words that you can come up with that would actually give, to come up with the word salesman? Would it be slimy? Cheater? Liar? Polyester suit? White shoes? Yada, 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 used car? People have that ideology in their mind that salespeople are not to be trusted. But yet, if you think about it, although credit has to be given to marketing, branding, and advertising because that brings people to the door, sales is the only part of an organization that creates revenue. And so that is a vital ingredient. Understanding that, removing the head trash that what you have to offer is the solution for someone else, allows them to actually come and trust you. And so, yes, we do have the head trash, as we refer to it, of what sales is all about. Our objective still is to bypass that and understand that we have a solution for people that are looking for our products.
So, why is it important for us to sharpen up on our sales techniques and strategies?
As a sales trainer for Sandler, I've come across a variety of different business owners and people who are managing sales teams. And one of the things that I come across on a continual basis is the fact that somehow people feel that they can innately create a relationship and that automatically turns into sales. That's not generally true, primarily because do you do business with your cousins and your brothers and your sisters? You have a relationship with them, but yet you don't. And if you do, you're one of the lucky few. But the idea becomes we, as far as understanding where we are as a society, we have to understand that we're not all about selling, even though we all do. But what is it that we're actually trying to accomplish by selling? It's not about getting money for a transaction or the notion of change. It's the ability to provide a solution or a resolve to someone who's actually in need of that particular product. You can't convince anybody to buy something that they're not willing to buy. So people who claim to be salespeople sometimes feel they have to convince someone. Sales is not about convincing. Sales is about providing a solution to someone's need, want, or desire.
So it's really having that mind shift when you're initially going into it in terms of, again, how can I serve you would you say? And basically, again, what's the solution? We need to find a solution. It's not about, at the end of the day, the dollar amount in the
Yes,
sales transaction.
yes.
It's when I go in there with, let's find a solution to whatever problem you might be having. And maybe at the end of the day, maybe I don't have the solution, but being able to walk away from that, would you say as well?
Absolutely. One of the things that I've come to understand is that most people will, and when I say most, I'm not generalizing, but in essence, most people feel that if they're shopping for something, the salesman is going to sell them. And people don't want to be sold, but yet they want to buy. And how do you create that synergy that you acquire what you want? Everybody's looking for the deal. You walk onto and I'm going to use the analogy of used car salesman, excuse if I offend anyone out there, but if you walk onto a used car sale or a car lot, the assumption is that you're there to buy a car, which is true at some point. The objective of the salesman then should find out, well, why are you buying a car? Is your family growing? Are you buying one for your kid? Is it something that you're going to be able to afford? And if the stars align properly, a purchase and a sale will be made. Unfortunately, the stigma still occurs, but we're afraid to actually have someone help us. I'm going to give the example of you having a need to buy something. For example, let's say a TV. The TV just broke. You walk into a local electronics store, and someone comes up to you and says, "May I help you?" What do you say?
Right.
Immediately people say, "No, thank you," even though you want to buy.
Yes.
And the idea behind that is because most buyers either overextend their need or underextend their need. And that sometimes becomes an issue, so the salesperson presses on, the buyer relinquishes back. Before you know it, you have this probably a negative or less than an admirable relationship. The idea is to first identify why they're there,
Yes.
and then work from that point on.
So that's so good. That's so good. So one of the things that I do want to do, especially for those that are kind of tinkering on, coming out to Spotlight on Success Summit, let me ask you this. How important is it for us to polish and stay on that continual learning curve of professional development? How important is that to our overall success?
Most successful people that I've come to understand, as I do work with CEOs throughout the Puget Sound area, is the fact that they actually do implement a daily behavior that allows them to continually grow. There's a wonderful book by Jeff Olson called The Slight Edge. And The Slight Edge is one of those fantastic books,
Yes.
and it's all designed regarding what I refer to, and the book refers to as the penny principle. Most people don't understand. Would you rather have a penny doubled every day for 31 days or $1 million? And the average person takes $1 million.
Yeah, they want right now.
Exactly. The idea, though, is if you double a penny every single day for 31 days, you'll have over $10 million. And most people don't understand that. The idea of growing, we're human beings, and we have to continually be progressing in some aspect. You're either growing or you're dying. And successful people will find a way to every single day do just a little bit more for the next day and the next day and the next day. And that will allow them to become more successful, or at the very least, go in the direction of their goals and their dreams.
Yes. Now, why should they come to Spotlight on Success Summit?
Really, why would I go to Spotlight on Success?
Yes.
I know several of the speakers that are there, and I respect all of them, first of all. To have one place that you can actually acquire the amount of knowledge that will be available to everyone is probably one of the most intriguing events that I've seen in quite a while. There are networking events and there are educational sessions on a variety of different aspects of business. But when it comes to an overall overview of the development of business, I don't see that there's been a better event out there than the actual Spotlight on Success. You will find, and I'm mentioning strictly by memory right now, Miss Lamb, who is a communication expert, Tracy Warren, who's a marketing genius, myself, Thatch Wen, who will be your keynote speaker. These people are highly respected in the community as business entrepreneurs and leaders, and they have so much to offer. Just acquiring a little bit of knowledge that can put you on track the next day, that should be enough for coming down to spotlight of success.
Now you heard it from Omar. I didn't say it, and I didn't pay him. He said that. Can you give us, as we close out, one thing that we can do right now that can prepare us to come to Spotlight of Success, to compare to when we come to a breakout session in terms of sales? Something that we can do, because even in Jeff Olson's book, The Slight Edge, it talks about the daily discipline. So what's one thing that we can implement right now that will help us on this path to success?
As far as my session in particular, I can ask you that when you come, disregard everything you've understood so far and have an open mind for an alternative understanding on how you work with people, how you relate with people. Once you can actually release and become a little more open-minded, it may be an opportunity to acquire a new skill, or at the very least, a new behavior that can actually help you become more successful. The idea of coming to any one of the events, any one of the speakers, their workshops, you will find that there are an incredible amount of information. Now, we're not going to change the world with just one event or one particular aspect. But what if the very next day all you can think about was something that one of the speakers said? What if that next day you're able to implement something that someone actually asked you to consider? Just that little change might give you that edge that within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, maybe a year later, you can focus back and say, you know, that one particular piece of advice, or that one little transactional understanding that I picked up at the event allowed me to make an additional X amount of dollars, or expanded my network, or just increased your self-development in a certain particular way. That alone, I believe, is one of the main reasons you should consider yourself just lucky and prepare yourself open-mindedly to actually absorb some materials. You may not agree with all of it, but consider it. That's all we ask.
Yes, that's beautiful. And again, we're just delighted, we're ecstatic that you said yes and that you wanted to be a part of what we have going on and what we really have going on as a movement. We're really trying to get the people to understand out there in the marketplace that they have to start investing in themselves and learning, acquiring those new skills and techniques and strategies to really be able to apply immediately into their business, even in the career professionals that we have coming out. So we're just tremendously excited. It's going to be a full day. It is going to be a full day. Not only do we have the keynote, but we've got all these wonderful breakout sessions, and we're giving away a Kindle Fire there. And we have to totally thank our sponsors, and it's a free event. And at the end of the day, I have to say to each one of you that are considering, if you're straddling the fence and you haven't said yes to coming out, you have nothing to lose. It's a win-win situation for you. You have individuals, professionals, thought leaders, change agents that are making a difference and that want to pour into you because they realize the importance of, as they give to you, that it comes back to them. And so we want to make a difference not only in our families, but in our local community and society as a whole. So we hope that you say yes to you and to come out to Spotlight on Success Summit on June 7th and be around all of us that are trying to learn and recognize that we don't have it all together, but we're here to support each other and that we can learn and take from one another. So again, I hope that you say yes to you. Thank you again, Omar, for sitting with me and sharing a little bit with what we have to expect to hear from you, and we're excited. We're excited. So again, thank you each one, and we look forward to seeing you on June 7th.